Are you a parent and you have a child who's getting into dating perhaps? Do you want to know how to prepare for a first date? Well, in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you a parent's guide that you can use to help prepare your child. Hi, I'm Nicolene Peck, and I teach parenting and communication all over the world. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you what I've done with my own children. So I have 4 children of my own, and every one of them has reached dating age by now. I also was the previous foster parent for many troubled teens. They were all between the ages of 12 and 18 years old. So, of course, they were right at that age where I was helping them with their boy-girl relationships. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 3 steps for preparing your child to date. And if you stick with me to the end, I've got a really fun bonus that I know you'll enjoy afterward. There's 5 different ways that we teach our children things. And one of those ways that is really effective is called a parent counseling session. So a parent counseling session is a special meeting that you have with the child about one particular issue. When it comes to dating, this is a big topic, and so it is definitely worth a sit-down, one-on-one, heart-to-heart conversation. That's basically what a parent counseling session is all about. But this isn't a time to lecture to the child. This is a time where you discuss the upcoming situation and you help them prepare for success. Let me explain to you what a parent counseling session sounds like when it's a dating parent counseling session. So when I notice that my child is getting to that age where they are ready to start dating somebody else, then I will initiate a special conversation with them. I might take them out to lunch or dinner. It might be on a drive in the car. I might tell them, hey, come for a walk with me. I want to talk to you about something that I think you'll find is very exciting. And so I initiate this one-time conversation, and then later we're going to follow up on it. So this one's going to set the foundation for everything that we discuss related to dating over the course of the years. Now, I know every family has different rules when it comes to dating. Some people have a certain age that it's at this age you can start going on dates with people. And then there's other people who say, well, whenever happens is fine, but these are the standards or the rules that you need to abide by. So as the parent or set of parents, you need to decide what rules are you going to have in place for dating. That's got to be determined ahead of time. For instance, in my family, children are not allowed to date until they're 16. And when they do date in our family, it's going to be group dating or group experiences, not one-on-one single paired off dating. That's not going to happen till a little bit later, until they're closer to the time where they're more developmentally and mentally and socially prepared to have a paired off type relationship. So when they're young, it's just about having fun with the other person. And I explain to them, dating is the time where we learn what we like in a person, maybe what we're going to be looking for one day when we're trying to find a future mate for our lives. So this is not the time where we want to necessarily pair off. Now, I know in modern times, the word dating is actually really confusing. There are a lot of people who think if you go on a date with someone, that means you're automatically connected to them and paired off. This can be very scary for young people. I wish we would get back to the old way of looking at the term. When I was young, when you went on a date, you could go on a date with anybody, but that didn't mean you had any obligation or commitment. No one was going to socially see you as an item or have expectations and increase your stress level. We need to get back to that. I know a lot of times nowadays youth call it hanging out, and because they use that term, that differentiates between the two. But in our minds as parents, we know that when someone is hanging out with somebody else or a group of people, that is essentially a date. As part of your parent counseling session with your child, you are going to want to discuss what certain rules are, such as when is curfew, and how long can dates be, and things like I mentioned before, like how many people need to be there, and do you get to date the same person time after time. So in our family, we didn't want pairing off, so we actually told our children, we don't want you to go on a date with the same person back to back, but try to mix it up so that maybe you date person A, and then you go on a date with person B, and then maybe person C, and then you could take person A out on a date again. This keeps it so that the children don't feel like they are pairing off with somebody, and they don't have to have a loyalty to one person just because they went on a date or a hangout with them. So those are going to be some of the rules you're going to want to share. Also, you might want to have rules that you explain to them about boundaries, personal boundaries, maybe saying things like, well, what's okay? Will we hold hands? Is that okay? When would you hold hands with a person? When would you give a person a hug? What if a person wants a kiss from you? What would you do about that? So you're going to be talking about all these kinds of things that the children wonder about. They don't know when the best time is, or maybe they've seen certain friends engage in all kinds of physical activity, and they feel like that if they date someone or go on a date with someone, they're required to do all of those things. So make sure you talk about the ways that we touch and communicate, the ways that you might want to talk with a person. That's also important. One thing that I always shared with my children when they were starting this dating journey is I would say, if you want to have a second date with that person, if you want that person to enjoy your company, you've got to make sure that you ask them questions and give them the chance to talk. If you are only talking about yourself, that's not very fun for anybody, and they don't have a great memory that is usually made on that experience with you. So to create good friends, turn the attention on them instead of on yourself. This was super helpful information. Other things that you're going to want to talk about is respect, how to respect each other, how to respect their parents, because that's also a key player in dating life. What are the parents thinking about it? What are the parents' rules? If you keep the parents happy, then the whole dating experience is better for everyone and less stress. So we're going to want to talk about relationships, developing relationships. All of those kinds of things are important bits of conversation for that parent counseling session. Also, as part of this parent counseling session, you want to establish what consequences might come into play if a person does not keep their curfew, or if they happen to engage with other people in ways that is not safe or healthy or might go against some of your family standards. It's got to be clear. They need to know everything. Before I get to my next 2 steps and my bonus, I would like to know from you, what types of differences have you noticed in the dating world from when you were a teen to where now your children are a teen? There are some differences, and I would love to see what you're seeing. So put those in the comments below. Step number 2 is have a date with your child. So if your child is a son, then that means me, mom, I'm going to go on a date with my son. I'm going to say, listen, before you can go out on dates with other people, we've got to have a practice, or maybe even a couple of practices. So you need to ask me on a date when you feel like it's a good time for you, and then we will go and have a good time. You will get to run that date, and I'll give you tips afterward on how it's going. We'll have good conversation, and you'll get to experience what a girl feels like when they're being taken on a date by you. If your child is a daughter, then this is a great time for dad to take your daughter on a date, right? And he asks her on a date, and then he shows her how she should be treated when she is on a date with a man. This is a beautiful thing that she gets to experience, so that she has a bar. She has a criteria. She wants to find somebody who will treat her as good as daddy will treat her. So this is important. When the parents set the bar for how dates should happen, then the children have a very high bar for what they are hoping hoping for, and they won't sell themselves short or put up with behavior from other people that really puts them in danger or is not very comfortable for them. Step number 3, before the date, do a pre-teach. So I'm all about self-government. There are multiple videos here on this channel that talk about self-government and what that means in a relationship and with your family. So go ahead and look that up. I'm not going to go into tons of detail there, but I will say that one of the key principles of self-government is preparing ahead of time. So both steps number 1 and 2 have all been about preparation, but the night of the date or the day of the date comes, you need to pre-teach one more time about what they can expect, what kinds of conversation starters that they can use, how to behave themselves, what to do at the doorstep. All of those kinds of things need to be taught just one more time so that they are fresh in their mind when they leave out on that date, so that they will have success and confidence as they go and do things with their friends and start to work on what it feels like to develop different relationships and get to know new people. Alright, are you ready for your bonus? You stuck with me all the way to the end here. The bonus is the follow-up. A really good parent who is conscientious about teaching their child good social behavior and helping their child take those steps toward adulthood that will actually make them successful always does a follow-up afterward. So after the date, whether it's that night or whether it's the next day, have a heart-to-heart conversation about what happened and be totally safe. If your child explains, well, I ended up kissing him, I didn't want to, but I did, don't be shocked. Say, well, that can happen. Let's talk about how next time you can make it so that you get more of what you want out of a date or a hangout with a certain person. Make sure that they know you are a safe person to talk to. There is nothing they can't talk to you about. You are not going to be shocked about anything. You are the one that's going to help them succeed and help them through some of those bumps that happen when you're in the dating age. Has this been fun for you? If so, give me a thumbs up. If you would like more content like this, there is a free class that I would like to share with you, and it is called The Expectation Trap versus the Cycle for Success. So click on that video now, and I'll see you there.